Or
sorry, what was that a question?
No, it's a rambling, really, Peter.
Okay.
All right. Okay, just give me another 9 seconds to wake up. Probably be awake by the end of the broadcast. Oh, wow. Okay, what a week this is. Good morning and welcome to Blabbing for Britain, episode 269. Good morning, Peter, who was first here.
Good morning.
And good morning, John, who was second here.
Good morning.
I'm going to hide that. Hopefully. This may or may not work, but I'm going to hide that and say hello to the fourth musketeer.
Stokey Steve's arrived.
Oh, there you
Hello,
go.
good morning. How are we?
We're all right.
We're waking up, he said, to being honest. Right, okay. Now, for those of you who may not know, but Peter and I certainly do, there was a Windows update yesterday. And it's screwed with things again. Last week it got rid of my camera. This week it got rid of my microphone. I just don't know how they do it. These updates, making a mess.
I haven't had any problems.
I haven't had any problems.
Yeah, but you're macking it, aren't you?
I'm loving it, mate. I'm loving it.
Crinda screaming for us. There you go.
Very good. And so it is. Right, what's happening in Aberdeen, Peter?
There's a guy called Peter Stewart who has burnt out with video conferencing. I'm burnt out in frustration with computers that should not Facebook, what do you call it? Windows 10. Stop trying to take us over. We've enough what other platforms try to take us over. No, you need to stop it and make it simple.
There's one simple thing. Turn off Windows updates and just do them when it suits you instead of letting them do it when it suits them.
Yeah, well, I thought I've done that. No, what's been happening in Aberdeen, I'll tell you what's been happening in Aberdeen. I think everybody's looking forward to the lockdown, the lockout, or whatever you call it, a bit of freedom. And I've actually arranged on a thing called Nextdoor. I'm allowed to take 15 people out on a run, not the cycling club, me. And I'm glad to say that I've got about 6 people there already. And it's not Saturday yet. So I'm really happy about that. And that is it from Aberdeen at the moment.
Now you have an advantage over all 3 of us.
Yes, what's that?
You can get a haircut on the 5th of April. We've got to wait till the 12th of April.
Ah, right, okay. Well, I'm not going to go on the 5th because the last time the queues were actually outside the barber shop.
Well, most of ours are by appointment only.
Okay.
And currently they're saying 12 to 15 days after the 12th before you can get a haircut. And it's driving me mad.
Blood pressure. You should get a beard shave as well. I think that would be great.
No.
We are.
I don't want to look like an old fogey like you do, Pete.
Yeah, look at me. Look, 61-year-old, smooth, and oh, gee, the amount of people that say I look great and beautiful. I can't help it. Back to you.
That's a non sequitur. People saying that you're beautiful. What's happening in Stoke, Stephen?
Well, I'm just looking through Stoke-on-Trent live. Always a minor rubbish. And we've got a suspicious man with a phone pressed to car window films children outside a Stoke-on-Trent primary school. Then we got another pervert. Then we got a report of a monkey dust dealer, who's very popular in Stoke, who led police on the A50 on a chase, and saying, "I was only doing a drop in Fenton," which is a place around here. Oh my God, we got the sort of the FA have just carried out a report on child abuse over the 70s and 80s. We've got crews just up the road, and there's Oh, it's a horrible thing to talk about. McDonald's have just opened their 4th restaurant within a space of 4 miles. And fly tipping is quite endemic here. So yeah, it's quite the usual type of thing for Stoke. Really depressing. Oh, there was one thing I was going to mention. Do you remember 3 years ago there was a big competition to be the City of Culture?
Yes.
It was Hull at the time, and Stoke put a load of effort into their bid, and Coventry eventually won it. And the irony is that it was the City of Culture 2021 they were bidding to be, and that's gone quite well, hasn't it, so far? You can see the massive amount of opportunity that people will take to go to Coventry this year. So things come around. That's the report from Stoke-on-Trent.
Do you remember in 1986 what big event took place in Stoke-on-Trent?
Garden Festival.
Yay! I remember going 2 days. Yeah.
Basically a shopping village now, which isn't a bad thing. And I've lost the page to there we are. Hello. Oh, and Peter, you're talking about your love of Zooming and computers and that. Just need to. Hello, Peter. Do you remember? Yeah. Well, next week there's a thing called the West Midlands Live Expo 2021 online, being held online, and I've got a stand on it. And obviously, I'll invite you all so you can come and have a look. But it's 5 days of 8 hours a day being available to people who come to my virtual stand. So I'm sure you'll get a thrill by popping along, Pete.
Yes, sir. Well, I've just got to say, I've got 3, your pest control pal will tell you, because for the past 2 days, we've had our exhibition. It's went well. There was a couple of hiccups. Couldn't get it on Chrome. So I had to go on my iPad. Some people couldn't get it in Chrome, others could. And then the coffee lounge, when I was trying to speak to people in the coffee lounge, that didn't quite work for me in the iPad. But I was able to click onto my suppliers and talk to them. And I was able to I was able to watch some training. But I think it's been absolutely marvellous. And I said, whatever you do, you need to keep doing this. It won't take over from big meetings. But today, I've also got my biggest attendee ship of my Pest Talk. Yeah. The biggest attendee list so far. I think there's about 22 coming. And I'm getting CPD point for it. And then what happens? Windows 10 decides to play up. Let's get Peter. Let's muck him around. Yeah, just in a day, immediate.
Just switch the damn thing off.
Yeah, turn it off and turn it back on.
Back on again.
Yeah, no, it's not. But it's Google Chrome. It's coming up on.
What's coming up?
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for hijacking my good news. I will be exhibiting at West Midlands Expo Live next week. And I'd love to see you all on the stand saying how wonderful I am, how much you love the sort of opportunity to meet with me once a week. And
Oh, we'll come along.
Yeah, we'll come.
Just remember to send us a link.
Will do.
Say good morning to Fonz.
Hello.
There we are. That's for good morning, Fonz.
Oh, Fonz is in the building. He's not in the room, but he's in the building.
Right, okay.
Yes, correct. Indeed.
So
Right.
what's going on in Solihull? Is it my turn?
Hey,
It
John,
is,
what's
yeah.
on it?
Not a lot. Despite the fact that we've had lots of rumours about 2,000 job losses from Land Rover, they're advertising jobs this week.
Oh,
wow.
They're seeking apprentices as well. So plenty of commitment, although if you saw the amount of new build that's going on next to the Rover plant, current Rover plant, you'd realise there was a massive commitment anyway.
yeah.
What else? I would like to thank the NHS and say what a fantastic job it does. A week ago, last Friday, I took Celia to Grove Road surgery. You know, it's all done in groups and using different surgeries to have some blood drawn for blood tests. I took her last Friday to Monk's Path surgery to have her stabbing. It's not been very well since.
That's a good way to describe it.
got a cold. But yesterday, at 8:30, the doctor phoned to talk to her. And they were on the phone for almost half an hour, which is really quite unbelievable with the doctor, because the doctor thinks it's not a cold and he doesn't think it's related to the stabbing. Okay. But in fact, that she actually has the flu because she has a very low white blood cell count.
All right.
Okay, so she spent half an hour reassuring that it won't have any effect on her heart problems and all these kind of things, and said that she would prescribe some antibiotics for her. Went off the phone, thanks. And then we just sat down and Celia said, well, you know, I've got this and that and the other. And then at 11:45, there was a knock on the front door. And it was the surgery is one end of a block and the pharmacy is the other end of the block. And it was the delivery man for the pharmacy. And less than 3 hours after the doctor said she would prescribe antibiotics, they were delivered to our front door. And that to me is just amazing.
Yeah.
So well done, the NHS, and thanks to the doc.
Well, I'm actually the same, John. I get my medicine. I put it online to what I need, my surgery. It goes to my local chemist and they deliver it to my door. Because
we've had that ever since Celia was ill, which was September, not last year, the year before. But this is just amazing that the doctor says, I will prescribe you. And less than 3 hours later, they're actually in Celia's hand. I think that's unbelievable, to be honest.
They must have like a priority thing. So look at
actually, it came with a big red sticker on that said urgent.
There you go. So that's good. And
speaking of vaccines, have you seen that the government have cocked up something in terms of getting 5 million doses of the Oxford vaccine from the Europeans?
Yeah, but it's not our government that's being naughty. It's the government over there it's the combined governments over there that are being naughty and saying they're going to stop it from being exported.
But how is that possible? Who's breaking that?
That's one of the rewards of leaving the EU, isn't it?
Well, this is because if there's a contract in place between Oxford and who for the delivery, and what I'm trying to say is whose fault is it? Who's to blame?
Yes, well,
is it wonderful Boris and all his?
This isn't Boris, because Boris got the orders in long before the EU got the orders in. The problem is now there ain't enough to go round. And we've already reserved our big block. And so to try and ensure that they get their supposed share, they're saying they won't allow it to be exported. They haven't actually stopped it yet. It's just a threat.
So
it's an advice to the from the NHS to doctors and all sorts of people saying, please be ready for no more vaccines for a month.
It's lower levels, not no more, lower levels.
There are two sides to this. One is, as you've just been saying, the UK-EU thing, and it's just the EU haven't got their act together, as John said, and trying to placate all the citizens of 27 countries by saying, we're looking after you, when they true that they're not. But the other side of this is there is a genuine shortage of supply.
But it says on the BBC website that India's shortfall is behind the UK's supply delay, and blah, 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 blah. An expected reduction in the UK's COVID vaccine supply in April is partly due to a delay in a delivery from India of 5 million Oxford AstraZeneca doses.
Yeah, production facilities in India.
So what they've tried to do is switch it from Belgium, or I think it's Belgium where it's made. Chris will know, we can always ask her, and get some from India. But India isn't ramped up the same as Europe, and the UK is ramped up for the bank. So
there's nothing to do with the EU.
Which, no, there are two situations, right?
Yes.
You've got a problem with the EU, yeah? And so in order to try and cover up that, not cover up, that's the wrong word, to replace that, they've switched some of the order to India. This is AstraZeneca. I've switched some of the production to India. However, because it's still ramping up over there, it isn't going to happen in this quick enough speed for it to kill the EU problem.
Oh well.
But hey,
we'll be back to normal. Sorry, Peter.
They did warn us. They said you won't get medicine because you're not letting it come out of your country.
Right. We're back to normal in
May. Voice down, dude.
It's just I don't get it, Pete. I'm sorry. There was much ranting yesterday, and it gets on your nerves.
It's my nature, and I'm part of the show. You're not going to do a Piers Morgan on me, are you?
Now you have to walk off to do the Piers.
Cancel him. Get him off the show. Let's cancel him because he speaks his mind.
No, because he goes off on one.
Next topic, Pete, and just move on.
Right, okay. You've mentioned what's happening in Aberdeen and Solihull and in Stoke. I just want to give you first heads up as to what's happening in Devisors and reveal, hopefully.
No, can't see it, unfortunately.
No,
just a minute. I can adjust my set. Possibly.
I'm surprised you haven't set that as your background.
Yeah.
I could actually do that, couldn't I?
I didn't think this would turn into a party political broadcast show.
Yeah, but we're not present up your way, so don't worry about it.
Other candidates are standing.
And for the first time in many years, I'm actually going to be voting Conservative because the Liberal Democrats have fallen apart in my ward.
Right. But not in my ward. They're actually well organised, and it's going to be a three-corner contest between Labour, Conservatives, and Lib Dems. The three candidates know each other, have known each other for 20-odd years. And they announced a pact in a Facebook group saying we won't slag each other off. We'll try and stay positive. And so far, that's working well.
Well, I've got to tell you, I vote Liberal here for my local councillor, who's actually a neighbour about 10 doors along, right? Because he gets things done. He gets things done locally, and that's why I vote for him. Not SNP, not Conservative, nobody else. I vote for the councillor because he does it. He'd be better off as an independent, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And the issue is pretty much the same here, that the proposed Liberal Democrat candidate is, if you'll pardon my French, a dickhead. And the proposed candidate for the Conservatives, and I'm not talking about politics here, I'm talking about people who get off their arse and do something, really does get things done.
Yeah. So,
which the previous Liberal guy used to do, but they forced him out because he's 82.
Right.
That's a madness.
Can I mention some big news in Aberdeen today that's went nationwide? Do you know of it?
We didn't really get all of Stephen's news, did we?
No, I'm fine. I'm carrying on. Yes, Peter, carry on.
And then you can go back to the Liberals, I don't mind. No, there's big news in Aberdeen today that's went nationwide. Do you know what it is?
No.
it's Aberdeen University, and the students have decided to cancel anything to do with the British Army on their campus for recruiting or anything like that. It's all over the national news, and you got to remember, a lot of these people go to the Officers University Training Corps and things like that, but they've just decided they're not getting on. And I haven't looked into it in too depth, but I'm probably going to make a placard and go down and stand outside for my greyberry and stand there and say, if it wasn't for people in the army, you wouldn't be here today.
That's better, Peter. Calm and
speaking German, and would probably speak it very well. You wouldn't have to pay for the classes.
calm and collected, Peter. No more ranting.
Yeah, but that's the big news in Aberdeen. You may want to look up at that. It's been on the radio all morning.
I don't understand Corinda's Stefane. India corrupted.
Stephanie, India's corrupted. You'll find that most countries are corrupted.
Yeah.
Stephen, would you like to go back to being proud of Angelica and telling us about it?
No, I'm good.
So within the framework of the Representation of the People Act 1922, please.
Hey.
Sorry?
Well, I'm all for self-promotion, but A, Angelica hasn't paid us for this. B, she hasn't put it onto the register of her amount to spend in her political campaign. And really, Stephen, should you be associating Blabbing for Britain with such an overt political agenda?
Yeah,
we are known as being anti-SNP, and we are probably the most anti-SNP program going. So we have a history of politics.
and come on, in Stoke-on-Trent, don't you represent the "I'm not going outside my front door" party?
What's that mean?
I'm only pulling your leg, mate.
I don't know what you could do, but I don't know what you pulled, and I didn't feel any effect.
It's quite a funny thing. There's a lady got a new electric bike. I says, we can't meet up as a group, but come with me and I'll show you one of the routes, because you're allowed to meet one person. And I says, they're all you meet and we'll have a cup of tea. I says, there's one thing not to mention when you're there. She goes, oh, what's that? I says, politics. Because they're all split. Yeah. But did you hear the other thing about Scotland today?
You're getting more nuclear missiles, apparently.
There's what, sorry?
You're getting more nuclear missiles.
Oh, are we indeed? We're also getting more immigrants, and they're putting them to Scottish Islands, according to Priti Patel, in the most darkest areas where there's nobody there. Do you know about that?
Well, if I was me, I'd get rid of ugly Patel, but
yeah,
she's mad. Absolutely mad.
A lot of women. But so there's a funny story. There was a tweet went out this week, and it said Queen Elizabeth will be coming to the Clydeside area. No aircraft within about 3 miles. And I think it was a politician lady put up, oh, why can the Queen come up here, but I can't go to Aberdeen or Glasgow? And the Ministry of Defence back at tweets says, because you're not a 665,000 ton aircraft carrier. And she quickly did, but I followed her on Twitter to see what she actually was laughing about it. She says, I didn't realise. The Ministry, if there's one thing about soldiers, and you'll know, we've got a sick sense of humour, and but that was brilliant from the Ministry of Defence. Back to you.
Yeah, I saw that and they did an half chuckle.
Yeah.
I see a bit of really sad news this week that Sabine Schmidt has passed away. An amazing driver, unbelievable.
She was.
And what she did with that Ford Transit van was amazing.
Do you know, I never even knew who she was because I don't watch Top Gear and things. It's not my type of program.
She wasn't just on Top Gear. She was on many other programs as well.
Yeah.
She was the queen of the Nürburgring.
All right. Okay.
She did drive round it for the first time, age 12, in her mum's BMW with her mum not knowing.
Very good. Very good. Well, I've got to tell Stephen Salk, if I'm on a low carb, keto type diet.
Oh, God.
And I made bread for the first time live.
Sourdough.
What a scream. No, not sourdough, a low, it's called mega bread. And what a scream. And it just shows you what can be done with live things, because people come in and watch, and it was a disaster. It was a disaster. And I've seen people coming in and out, and they were making comments, you know. And so I'm probably going to do more cooking once I get my YouTube page up and running and have a laugh with that.
I like that.
So,
good idea.
So that's my new hobby, cooking, because I've just ordered a new cooker thing, and I'm going to get a mixer. Have you ever kneaded bread? Stephen, you've probably done it.
But you'll never be as smooth as Paul Hollywood, will you? I mean,
You never know. I could be an international star.
oh yeah, that's why you put 4 times as much whatever it is in.
She must have put in 40 grams. It was 10. The woman that does all the cooking, she says, "What the F have you done?" Hey, can you see how bright
Apparently
it is?
the final product was suitable for hitting burglars over the head.
Here, look at his son coming in, guys.
Stephen's frozen himself. At least I hope it's frozen himself.
No, he's hidden off us. How's him?
He's got that magic button where you can freeze yourself.
So here, it's a very good button. I went into the Keto Club coffee morning yesterday. It was 2 men, me and another guy. And all the women were speaking. I was telling them this. I froze it. And I'm just saying, I was saying to Stephen, I think, if you're running a show, remember your guests. Remember to introduce each other. Look at what people are writing, etc. I felt neglected. I really did. I left without saying cheerio. Just went click. Bye. Anyway. How's your mate getting on? So how's Stephen back with that? He's found something, is he?
He's got a background now.
Yeah, I changed my background. So. Okay, I didn't know what to call, so I'm going to just call it the police bill.
2 and 6pence.
Yeah, the ability to protest and policing of protests. The bill has had its second reading, and it's an assault on democracy and the right to protest. Right, so Stephen's protested by going away.
No, I'm not. I've got a call.
Okay. This is draconian, is it not, John?
I haven't a clue what's going on.
Right. There's a Priti Patel who you mentioned earlier.
Ugly Patel. Gotta be Ugly Patel. I don't like anything she says or does.
Right. Okay. There's a bill going through Parliament which has a myriad of new regulations to actually assist the police, one of which is the right to stop people protesting, whether it's a person protesting or a group of people protesting. Then at the moment and for the next 6 months, the police will have the right to say you can't do that. Coronavirus or no, it's nothing to do with coronavirus. It's basically the police don't want any protests. And this is where it gets ludicrous. You know the guy who stands outside Parliament, one guy stands outside Parliament, and he's been protesting ever since he knew he could. And
the agency, don't you?
I've got noises off. I can't read your lips.
No, he's speaking to someone else.
Yeah, it's
mute at the moment.
Okay. In that case, I shall mute his microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one guy who protests outside Parliament, 4 people came up to talk to him. And police fined him £10,000 for actually holding a meeting. Now, whether that's apocryphal or true or not, we are heading towards a temporary police state. And there's nothing Parliament can do about it because the Conservatives have a majority. Anyway, that's just a point I thought I would make.
Well, I've got to tell you, someone went all the way to court because they wouldn't give their name and address to the police.
Mm-hmm.
The judge backed him. The judge backed him because they said, we're doing you under court. He says, I'm not giving my name. And they went all the way to court. So a lot of people now are backtracking and saying, you took me to court, but it was actually illegal according to the High Court or whatever it was. So all that's going to... So I'll give you my view on it. Basically, the police are stuck between the public and the government. Okay? I don't like seeing police getting injured. I don't like police getting overbearing with me. I just want them to do their job. But I just don't want them getting injured because of big crowds. If you're told not to go to a vigil, a protest is banned, what I would say if I was a chief constable, I'm not, but I would say, you have been warned. If you turn up en masse for a vigil, a protest, you will be arrested. I hope you understand this until such times are over. You're putting police lives at risk by turning up en masse, and then they have to arrest you. That's my view.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just something I've accidentally noticed. If you put your cursor over the logo in the top left-hand corner of this broadcast,
Where the shamrock is.
well, the shamrock only comes if you put your cursor there for us.
Right.
Right.
But do you get the shamrock permanently on yours then on the...
Oh, I've seen it going round and round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was yesterday, though, but never mind.
Yeah.
So good it was celebrated for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a damp squib in Birmingham because, of course, yeah, again, for another second year running, there was no parade. Because parade was cancelled at the last minute last year. And the parade is a big thing in Birmingham.
Is it?
Yes, they all drink green beer and all
Oh,
sorts.
I've seen that. Yeah. Yeah.
But a very big Irish community in Birmingham.
Yeah.
In fact, I think my next door neighbours of Irish descent with a name like O'Hara.
Well, I've got 46% in the blood.
Oh. Have you got any blood left, though, with all this ranting you've been doing and the blood pressure rising and the blood squirting out of your ears?
It's actually done me good because my sugar level on average is about 6.9 for the 3 months, which is very good. That's my good news.
Good.
I don't have a clue what mine is.
I don't either.
No.
It's,
Well, you have to buy a machine for it. I get free stick. You know, the little sticks that you do it, you get that free. But they've got a new one now. You get a patch, only type 1s get it. So you just take your phone and go beep, and it tells you. And it tells you if you're going up or down, which is very good. And I've been fighting to get it. But my diabetic nurse says, no, type 1s. I says, I'll get it. I even went to my MSP, who's SNP, by the way, or MP. I went to them. They said, sorry, you're not getting it. Type 1.
Can't you buy one on the black market, Pete?
well, there are commercial offerings as well.
Well, they're £26 for the patches a month.
Yeah.
So, any good news we can talk about?
The value of not stabbing yourself, £26 a month.
Well, there's a video I say, listen, when we go to restaurants and everything, we want to take our blood. And somebody says, do it in the toilet. And I says, do you know what people do in a toilet? They don't wash their hands and everything. I'm not going in there and opening up my body to that. And, but no, and I said, even for cycling, if I have to check my blood, because my sugars went down to 4.1. the other day. And 3.9 is you're going to go in a hypo. So that's why I wanted it for cycling was mentioned, but I'll fight that. Whoever gets that for me will get my vote. Let me remember that when I come down my door. Any pleasant things we can speak about?
The news at the moment is just, well, there is
Depressing.
nothing positive.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen says to me, Eustace, do you get up and look for good news? Yeah, but there isn't any. I look for it for this show. It's not any.
No, there isn't. There isn't. I mean, we're all waiting. We're caught in. We're on a schedule, and we're waiting for that schedule to unravel. And we're waiting for March 29th, April 12th, May something or other, and finally to be totally free on June 21st. We're sort of in a holding pattern at the moment as the government makes sure that each of the stages. I haven't heard anything about any negative news about the children going back to school yet, and we are now 9 days into it.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing that's happened to me, I ordered 2 new vans in January. Still waiting because they're French, and they've been held up. Don't know. He tries to explain why, but something to do with parts over there and getting it through. So I'm quite willing to buy French, you know. But
PSA vehicles.
Pardon?
PSA vehicles or Renault?
The Peugeot.
Pugots. I was just moving my car off the road because I'd been cleaning Celia's car last Friday afternoon, and this amazing looking metallic grey, very large Peugeot is being parked outside my neighbour's house. He delivers cars for PSA Group to events, to Lord and Lady Mac. He also does it for Land Rover as well. He works for a company that have the contracts. And it was the only car of its type outside of the Peugeot factory. And he was delivering a 508 hybrid up to Grange Sands for its launch on Tuesday of this week. And it was an amazing looking vehicle. It was the first time it had been on the road outside of the factory except for pre-acceptance testing of the model. And it was really quite handsome looking vehicle, very well kitted out, but for some reason it had green brake calipers and green pieces round the air vent. You know, you get air vents on the front for modern cars, and it made it look absolutely crap.
No holding back with
Somebody's idea that bright green, and I mean bright green, and then it had a little bright green stripe next to the Peugeot badge. So, how to ruin a car in 10 seconds?
Yeah, just want to show their green.
Steve said drive it all the way from Coventry to home electric, but he didn't feel he was going to get to Grange Sands from Alton on battery power.
Yeah, I've just got to laugh. I'm looking at an email from Be.Live. St Patrick's Day lucky offer, 35% off any year plan. It's just come in today. St Patrick's Day.
Oh, they haven't emailed me, so obviously I'm not a good potential. No, I haven't had any email from them.
Neither do I.
Yeah, but you're part of the team. You're a key man.
I am. Right. Okay. Do we need a steel industry anymore in the UK? That's the question.
Well, whatever comes in, it's cheap and rubbish these days. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was a day when the steel industry was so important to this country. That it's just gone downhill. And as John said, we import anything that we can import. We don't rely on making anything. So if we had to make our own tanks or our own vehicles, then we'd be reliant on other nations supplying the materials.
And then talking about tanks, the army was, well, somebody said that it's always ex-brigadiers and things or whatever that are can say it because they're away from them and we're severely lacking tanks. I used to be in a heavy tank regiment. We were chieftain tanks. We don't have that now. We've got open-topped Land Rover things. Some HD. We're now light cavalry that goes forward. No protection in them whatsoever. And they're top-heavy. And one of my colleagues was killed when it turned over. And so that's a problem, you know.
Oh, that's because tanks are being replaced by drones, aren't they?
Yeah, drones and helicopters is, I think, future warfare, you know.
Bit of nationalisation going on in Scotland.
Yes, there is.
Scotland is being nationalised.
Yeah.
Under their emergency powers for not being run properly. A Bellio are being kicked out.
Yeah, Dutch. The Dutch. So we're getting our own railway network again. And I don't think it should ever have been privatised.
Well, if you look at two of the largest, well, I mean, you've got the Scottish network going back to privatisation, and you have the London to Edinburgh and onwards from there.
Yeah.
Which is LNER, which is also 100% UK government owned.
Yeah. I mean,
it's moving back in the direction it used to be.
What a nightmare to get a train journey from Scotland to England at times. This one, pay this one, then that's a different one, and then that one. So I'll be able to get a train in Aberdeen and hopefully pay one company all the way down with one ticket, covering the lot. So, you know, I didn't think water should be privatised, and I never thought that the buses should be privatised, and the rail.
Well, in England, although there's multiple water companies, billing is now centralised under an organisation called Water Plus.
All right, okay.
They are absolutely effing useless. Okay, I get reminders to pay our bill when it's been paid. Yeah. Dated after even the money has gone through into their account, and they put a new meter on April the 5th into the top end. Our allotments is divided into basically two fields, a lower and an upper. They put a new meter in the upper field on the 5th of April last year. Haven't had a bill since.
Yeah.
It's just madness.
Yeah.
They put an electronic meter in so as it wouldn't need access to read it.
Right.
And the idea is that it's literally 6 feet from the fence, and other side of the fence is a small dead end cul-de-sac road. And the idea is the meter man would come along, read all the meters in the road, and read at the same time. No matter where he stands, he cannot read the blooming meter.
You're joking. Why?
It's supposed to have a range of 24 feet. Well, he can stand there. He can shove his arm between the railings and he still can't get a reading off the meter. And it's because it's down in the ground in a concrete trench. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he can't read it from the outside because it's too low in the trench.
So does he need to just stand and look at it? Does he need a key or anything to open it up to look at it?
It needs either the concrete being removed round the one end, or it needs raising so that he can get a signal.
Ah, right. So these
It's
things.
like a concrete trench. So the pipe comes in one end, pipe goes out to all the taps the other end, and in between is this meter.
Yeah.
Now, the mechanical meter they couldn't read because over the years it had filled up with damp, so you couldn't see the dial.
Yeah.
So they come along, they put this magic meter in that's radio controlled, and it's too low down in the ground and inside a concrete bunker, so the man can't stand the other side of the fence and get a reading.
Yeah.
Madness.
Crazy. So we've changed to Octopussy. Saved us a couple of £100. I'll let Sheila deal with that. Oh, I'm getting a sore stomach. And yeah. So
the two. Where are our other two?
we've done a runner. We've done a runner.
Stephen and Stephen, come home, all is forgiven. And Peter's not even ranting.
Yep.
Stephen's back.
I'm back. Stephen with a PH has done a runner. Obviously business, which is good.
Going back to the buses, I was a bus driver twice, but the local city buses, which were called Grampian, I remember when they went privatised. The chief engineer, Mr. Moyer, the council, they got involved with developing it, and they become First Bus. You've probably heard of them. And that was from here in Aberdeen. And one day I went out to do a job, and I went to this house, and the big gates opened, electric. And I went in, and it was actually his house. And I thought, wow, he was a chief engineer. He's from Newcastle. His son's a bus driver, or was a bus driver. And he must have made a fortune from that. And it's the same with Stagecoach. Remember Stagecoach?
Yeah.
I remember when Anne Logan, her brother, started outside Aberdeen bus station. They weren't allowed in it. And people, they would stop in double yellow lines out the bus station. People just loaded onto it. And sometimes if you're the spare driver, you were told, go over and watch and count how many go on the bus. That was your job that day. And that eventually became one of the biggest bus providers. And I remember when they'd done it in a double-decker bus. Amazing.
Right. Okay, now something of interest to all of us. Well, props not John, but BT's Openreach to build a full fibre internet like fury after the Ofcom move. Basically, what's happened here, we've been promised by our government that there will be high-speed internet throughout the UK, and BT Openreach are the ones responsible for actually doing it. And BT Openreach were holding back because they wouldn't be able to make enough money from it. The government has said, or Ofcom have said, we're not going to limit the amount of money you can make. So Ofcom are happy, they can go. They've got a license to print money.
Right. That's a monopoly.
Well, it is, yeah. But we do need it. We need the internet that John's got. We all should have the internet that John's got.
Their internet will be better than mine because it's up and down at the same speed, whereas mine is slower up. I'm only getting 60 odd up.
Only
60. Look at it, 6.
I get about 970 down, Peter, and about 60, 62 up. But the cabinets are outside my next door neighbours from BT.
Mm-hmm.
They were put there tail end of the year before last and finally filled middle of last year. And that can provide 167. And once they upgrade the modems to the next DOCSIS level, it will be 300 up and some 300 down and something like 40 up. But to get the 1 gig system, which is 1 gig in both directions, they've got to rip the entire innards out of the cabinet and start again.
Okay.
Which they're currently doing in Sutton Coldfield. But the problem is, it means because it takes them 3 days to replenish a cabinet, the current users of that cabinet don't have any internet for 3 days.
But they can still use a hotspot on a phone.
They're providing lone hotspots.
Okay, that's good.
Little MiFis.
Yeah, I've got plenty of them anyway. George, what does that cost you?
Connected to EE, of course, because of course EE is a subsidiary of BT.
All right, okay. They've been working on my lines for ages, and I says to the guys, "What are you doing?" They said, "We're putting the lines in." I said, "When's this for?" He says, "Oh, I think it's 2023 or something like that." That you'll be getting. But it's good news. But what is it you can do that I can't do right now then with your system?
I can download a 2-hour film in about 12 seconds.
Okay, well, I don't do that anyway. But
Well, I don't do that anyway. But it was peanut money, so why not take it?
Yeah. One big difference, Peter, is that if you had a higher upload speed, then you would be able to do full HD broadcasting, 10 people on screen, no problems at all.
okay, yeah,
That's the practical side.
An average of 62 meg up, which a lot of people were jealous of in down direction. You have
I know it's sickening. But here's the thing: what if we on this system we're kind of dialing into the servers at Be.Live? Yeah. What if they throttle it?
Be.Live. Well, it's not just Be.Live. It's like a motorway, isn't it? You want to get from Birmingham to Edinburgh, yeah? You can go up the M6, you can go up the A34, you can go all sorts of ways. And never two ways is the same when you go across the internet either. And everywhere along there, you're going through a service provider.
Yeah.
So any of those service providers could create a bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
So performance is never guaranteed on the internet.
No. So who have we got here? I'm just looking at the comments.
Nick Wood's been playing with Switchboard.
Yes.
Which switchboard? That's the question.
I can explain that.
Yeah.
Whereabouts was his switchboard comment? Oh, right. Okay. Right. We'll do a show on Wednesdays, which goes out at 5 p.m.
Yeah, I decided to go to the allotment yesterday instead of watching, I'm afraid.
That's okay. And basically, it's up to 10 friends just chatting about anything that comes to mind, including Chris, including Marco, including Nick, Jim Ziegler, and we're joined next week by Maria Recruit. And it's a brilliant show. But Nick mentioned yesterday that there was an AppSumo offer on Switchboard. And Switchboard is a beautiful piece of software, I have to say, which allows you to take an input like the feed from Be.Live, or not Be.Live, but say from Melon, and you can put it out to up to 60 different destinations. But here's the kicker with Switchboard. You can actually ask your friends, can I go live on your business page? And if that request is accepted, then you are able to go live on their page and reach a new audience. So you could set up a group of 50 people, all of whom were happy to take Blabbing for Britain or a Wednesday show. And when you go live on 60 different destinations. Now, you'd only be able to chat with 2 of them, but the other 58 would actually be able to follow the live broadcast. And that's basically where it's at. And what the idea is that you would try to funnel all the 50 that you're going out to back to the original one eventually. Yeah. So that, it's just a brilliant way of actually broadcasting. And it's on an AppSumo offer. It normally costs $85 a month if you pay for the full package, or even higher than that. And it's on AppSumo at the moment. And I now know that both Nick and I bought it last night.
How much?
$295. Which at the moment, this is a good. If you're buying software, now is a good time to buy because
the dollar's good.
Yeah. Well, the
for people who are paid in dollars, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But if you spend the dollars as dollars, then you don't lose out. But
I already have an application called Switchboard. So that's quite interesting. My switchboard application, I have 2 virtual landlines.
Mm-hmm.
Switchboard allows me to decide where they end up. And it's from a company called Switchboard as well. So I think they're going to have fun there. Yeah.
Well, it means that searching for them on Google is interesting because you get them if you type Switchboard Live, you get them at the top. Then underneath that, you get your switchboard company, and they fill the rest of the page.
Yeah. I was paying BT £29 a month. Yeah. To keep my landline number. Yeah. Nobody ever rang us except my sister-in-law on it. But I didn't want to lose the number because we'd had it for almost 40, well, nearly 40 years, well, 38 years, something like that.
Right.
So I converted it into a virtual landline with a company called Buzz Networks, and now I pay £6.53 plus VAT a month. And it rings on my mobile or Celia's mobile if I don't answer it.
So you can direct it anywhere.
Anywhere using the Switchboard app.
As we know, Corinda has been suffering seizures for the last couple of months. And he goes into hospital next week. He's had the pre-op check, which he didn't much enjoy, and I can't say I blame him. But he's in hospital next week for a brain operation. So on behalf of the Blabbing for Britain team, we wish you well and look forward to seeing you again in April. So take care, Corinda, and best wishes from all of us. Yeah. Okay.
Any last minute news?
Yes,
$295 equates to £222.
The problem we've got with these things, guys, is that new things keep propping up and we're spending money all the time.
I used to buy shiny things on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I very rarely buy a shiny thing at all.
Yeah.
Because when I look back, I've probably bought 4 different mailing packages. Yeah. And cloud-based mailing packages, and then used them and then decided they don't do what I want to do anyway.
Yeah.
And then bought the next shiny cloud-based mailing package.
True. I've got a collection of social media posting software.
Yeah, I have a few of those as well.
Yeah. Okay.
I end up going back to Postblazer every time, which I bought a lifetime license for on AppSumo, would you believe?
Yeah, wow. It's amazing, isn't it? I actually bought the Spectator, £12 a month, and I kid you not, I haven't opened them. What a job it is to cancel it. I've also got the History channel buried in my TV. It's £3 a month. And I've also got Apple TV that I haven't watched. And they're all going this week. Bye.
Right. Now, the reason for my interest in all of this broadcasting technology is my new website, which I host. I host on SiteGround. All my websites on SiteGround. But this is Web Talks Live. Guess what it's for? Correct.
I'm going straight to it.
Yeah.
Live video.
Live video, Web Talks Live, discussions live on the internet, and just look at the size of that display. Rather than being restricted by Facebook or by YouTube, you can have the size of screen display you want, and the broadcast goes directly out onto the website without touching Facebook or YouTube. And these are the ones that I did earlier. And I've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. And the idea is to broadcast live to your website. And I did a live demonstration of it on Tuesday. It simply works. It is the way forward because you're in control. Too many friends have been blocked by Facebook and or YouTube because of playing music. If you're doing it on your own website, the only thing you've got is your own conscience because you don't have an AI watching you. And you get better quality. The quality isn't throttled by Facebook, and it's better than the quality on YouTube. But that's a personal thing. So everything that I'm doing at the moment is focused towards being able to broadcast on a website. And at the moment, the problem is that the people who can do that are charging upwards of $85 a month.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to do an AppSumo deal last year, which means I've got a lifetime subscription to OneStream, who are one of those that do charge $85 a month, and I doubt a red cent. But going back to Nick talking about his obsession, his current obsession, they are going to have their own web player, which means that you'll be able to go straight from the system straight to the website I've just shown you. If that makes sense, good. If not, it will in future weeks.
So just a quick question. So if I was wanting that, I would have to buy that web page. Or do you embed that in your own website?
Basically, the web player is a piece of software written by, in this case, OneStream. And you have a WordPress website, quite possibly, and you embed the code that OneStream give you into your website, and you can either do it on a page or on your blog, and that's it. So
if I wanted you to place something that I'm doing live, you could do that for me.
Yep.
My God. Okay, that's very interesting. Andy, my friend Andy's and he's made a comment. That's interesting. Yeah, good.
Facebook's a spamathon just now. Well, that's nothing new, really. It's been a spamathon for years.
Well, sorry, just to go back to Switchboard for a moment.
Yeah.
Switchboard is an agency product. So you could run an internet or live broadcasting agency through it. And I could take your feed, Peter, and I could bring it into Switchboard Live, and I could send it out where you wanted it to go.
That's good.
Yeah, so all sorts of things possible. We're at the beginning again, new adventure. And as John was hinting at a moment ago, John, it's over to you.
I wasn't hinting. How did I hint?
No, what?
You're in Peter. God.
It was Corinda that wrote it. Are you fed up, Corinda?
We're overrun. Come on.
It doesn't hurt to overrun every now and again. It's only 3. No. Anyway, I will first of all say goodbye from Stephen in Stoke, who pissed off, and we never heard from him again. And let's say goodbye from Mr. Blood Pressure, and we'll see you soon as well.
I'll be back.
And Stephen and I will be back this afternoon at 4 p.m. with the Inspired by Him video show, and Stephen will be pleased to hear that the video is already done for this afternoon. So I've just got to send him a link. I've just got to put it on YouTube and send him a link. So excellent. Goodbye from him up there, him over there, him down there, and him who's off screen. Bye-bye.
Bye.